more players. You know, we've seen players in different positions. Kante come on today. You know, he must have seen, you know, most of his whole squad now at some stage or other playing in different positions. And I think that's what he wants. He wants to just learn from different people, don't he? And I think he's closer to getting his favourite, strongest starting 11. I think that's what he wants in the end. But, you know, it was a really good result today. Not a great performance, but a great result.
Yeah, when you're learning about a vast squad that is inherited and to keep winning as well, it was a difficult combination, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is. And he started off with experienced players in his first starting lineup. But now he's, as Mac has said, he's pretty much seeing everybody play now. Chopped and changed formations as well. Played a couple of people in positions, I suppose, that they might be unfamiliar with as wing-backs and things like that. I'm thinking of someone like Callum Hudson-Odoi. Then you've got to have some defensive responsibilities as well. But I think he'll be absolutely delighted with his points return. And while he's picking up these points, he's learning all the way. And now, all of a sudden, teams like Liverpool, Leicester, looking over their shoulder.
Absolutely. Yes, one more game to go of this Premier League weekend. And that comes in Yorkshire as well, in North Yorkshire at Allen Road for Leeds against Palace. Chelsea rounding off Sunday's action. All those headlines created, of course, by Manchester City, their second win in 30 attempts at Anfield. 4-1 at Liverpool, no goals at Molineux, and 2 goals for Tottenham. Harry Kane amongst them, returning to beat West Bromwich Albion by 2-0 after those 5 games that we saw on Saturday, including that last gasp equaliser for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to give Everton a 3-3 draw at Old Trafford against Manchester United. So the top of the table, after those drop points for Manchester United, after that defeat for Liverpool, after just a point for Leicester, it's been a very good weekend all in all for Manchester City, because they are 5 clear of United with a game in hand. And look at that gap between themselves and the reigning champions. 10 points, City have a game in hand as well. Chelsea, as I say, up to 39, just a point off the top 4 now, level with West Ham. Then come Everton, who have 2 games in hand on both West Ham, Chelsea, Liverpool and Leicester and Manchester United. They are on 37 points. Spurs, with that win today, up to 36 points. Sheffield United stay bottom, 11 points, 18 defeats from their 23 games. West Brom beaten today as well. Fulham, after that point yesterday against West Ham, 8 from safety. Burnley are the team immediately above them. If you ever got near that target, you'd be demanding penalties, wouldn't you?
I suppose so, yeah. But
there's no suppose about it. Let's not be around the bush. You would be demanding penalties.
Depends what you're arguing with, though, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, he's made a contribution today. And I said at half-time, I find him an interesting watch, really, because he does some things brilliantly well. And then some things, it's scratch my head. I mean, he stands offside a lot of the time. Even when he's facing right across the line, he can see he's offside. He stands there. And for someone so quick, he doesn't time his runs so good. But he's very direct. He can score goals. He's going through a barren patch, but he's always scored goals throughout his career. So I wouldn't be getting too worried about that. And I think that position, what do they call it? A left 10.
No idea.
A left 10.
Never heard of it before.
I actually think
a 9.5.
Yeah, it suits him. I think cutting in from that left-hand side, using his pace, especially when Giroud just pulls out of that hole and he runs into it, I think it suits him.
OK, you say it suits him. Long term, where's his role for Chelsea? Where do they get the best out of him, Maka?
I think it will be in this position where he's in now, the left side of the.
So not the central striker.
No, I don't think so. Not the central striker. No, I don't think he's got the physique, the stature, the composure to be a proper number 9 for a really high class team. So I'd see him coming off from the left wing where he played previously in Germany. And I think he's more dangerous running because the fact that he didn't score today, but he was involved in the 2 goals, and that's all you can do when you're going through a bad patch. The main thing is to contribute to the team, and he did that well. But I'm with Michael, as in some of the things he does are really, really scruffy, and you're thinking to yourself, how can you be so good at one stage and then just do things that baffle you the next? Even the penalty, which he wins, it's so unorthodox to kick the ball that side and try and run round him that side. You're almost thinking, what you do? Why don't you just run straight for the ball? But he wins the penalty and they win the game, and that's the most important thing. And I really liked his interview. He seems to be a really good character, doesn't he? And that will stand him in good stead. And he's still only adapting and learning to life you know, in England, and these, you know, again, a change of manager after 5 months. So, see, why doesn't he go right? The ball's come across. Why doesn't he take it with his right foot and go round Ramsdale that way? But you know, in the end, they get the goal from it, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I think Egan here is at fault, even though Brian is the one that eventually makes the bad pass. I think Egan can pass the ball here in the gap. And the funny thing is, as soon as he gives it to his mate, he should be passing it to his left foot there. If he wants it played down the line, he should be passing it to his left foot. All of a sudden, he passes it to his right foot weakly. And then all of a sudden, when he takes a touch, and then he has the cheek to then start pointing where it should go. It's like, well, why don't you do it? And if you're not going to do it, don't play it to my right foot. I mean, if that was me and he'd just dollied a ball onto my right foot, I could only go backwards now. And then he starts pointing where I should have pointed it or where I should have played it. I don't know what I'd do. I'd go mad. He's got a right cheek doing that. And anyway, and then it's a huge mistake. The referee, I mean, VAR has taken a bit of a kick in this weekend, but this is one shining example of why it's in place. A really good, I mean, a poor decision in the first place not to give it, but at least we got to the right decision in the end.
Do you matter at all what players do until they strike a penalty? Because Jorginho went traditionally on Thursday, but differently today.
As long as it goes in. I was never confident enough to take a penalty, so I never wanted that pressure as a player. But as long as it goes in, I'm not concerned. The technique they use, where it goes, as long as the outcome is a goal.
That was the skip, and that was the end result. Just getting back to that central role for Chelsea, Jolien. It's still up for debate, still up for grabs, if you like. Werner, Abraham, Giroud.
Hudson-Odoi at the end.
Hudson-Odoi was a false nine at the end. Which of those options would cause you, as central defender, the most concern?
I'd probably say Abraham at the moment.
Because?
I think because he can do more of everything. I don't think Werner is good enough, comfortable enough to come and be reliable with ball retention. I think Tammy Abraham is. I think Giroud is the most comfortable at that, but then he doesn't offer the spacing behind. He doesn't want to turn and run in behind because he doesn't have the pace to do that. So in terms of all attributes that are needed and what Chelsea would want, I would say Tammy Abraham.
Do you see one of those getting an extended run in that position for a bit of continuity?
I've never felt comfortable with the Chelsea main centre-forward since Drogba, probably. And I only say that...
Diego Costa for a while, possibly.
Yeah. But I only say that when I'm talking, are Chelsea going to win the league? Are they real contenders? Of course, they're brilliant players. Giroud's won a World Cup, for heaven's sake, and he's a brilliant player. But to win the Premier League, you need to be, you need one of the best strikers in the world. And I don't think Abraham or Giroud are in the top 10 strikers in the world. And I just think that's a department where lots of managers have tried. I mean, even Werner, they keep trying to buy bigger, better strikers. I just don't feel they've ever got it right since. I mean, they've spent fortunes. I mean, you mentioned Costa. They bought Torres when he was right at the top of his game. Morata spent big money on. So that they know there's a problem. Yeah. They get by. It's not glaringly obvious, is it? But it's a position.
If they want to go again,
that's what I mean. If they want to win the league,
proper centre foot. I mean, he had Higuain on loan, didn't he? So they know they've tried everything and everyone to fill in that void. But I certainly feel if they're going to go again, they need to have better players in that position. I'm exactly the same. They seem to have an abundance of players, but not abundance